Okay, we did it.
Hey.
Oh
We
man,
finally actually made it this time.
the listeners might not know, but we had quite the time of it trying to start recording this episode. But we made it. We're here, episode 3.
Yeah.
Um, yeah.
Yeah,
How are you guys
bloopers
doing?
reel galore 15 minutes ago.
Man, let me just say, I am pretty high.
Yeah, it's but it's the summer solstice just happened like yesterday, so it is totally the season for being high as a kite.
Yeah, tis the
So,
Oh wow.
season.
Okay. Well, that's great.
yeah, so I mean you're celebrating the right way. But
Excellent.
yeah. But I hope the summer solstice is going well for all our listeners too. Um, what have you guys been up to now that it's officially summer? Does it even like make a difference to you guys?
It does. I feel like it's been melting.
Yeah, it's been hot. That
It's been so
that
hot.
Tennessee heat.
Yeah. And Mila's at an age where she wants to be outside all the time. She loves outside.
Really?
So like, yeah, there was one day it was 90 degrees, and we were at the park, and we had walked there too. And for anyone who knows me, I don't like being outside, and I definitely don't like walking to places outside. So like, I was irritated with the weather already, but she was having a great time. So I'm just watching her play, and she's just not sweating at all. It's 90 degrees, and I'm just sitting still in place, and I'm just pouring. Like I look like the Key and Peele skit where he's afraid of her catching him in a lie, and the water's just sprouting out of his forehead. That was me. So. Yeah.
That's
So
hilarious.
it's been hot as hell. But yeah, otherwise I just been chilling, man, and trying to get ready for Mala's birthday in a few weeks here.
Oh yeah, that's right. The
Yeah.
the Day of America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
For those of you
crazy.
who don't know, she's born on the 4th of July, so yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Yeah, that's
her
right.
first birthday.
So she loves going outside. That's actually pretty interesting to hear. Yeah, because I definitely, I guess we've never really talked about it, but I'd always kind of known that you've never really been an outside person. Like me and you have never been like, hey, want to go hang out outside? Like I've never seen you
No.
initiate some sort of activity that involves being with outside. Which is like
Absolutely not.
fine to me because I also don't like being outside.
So I can only actually think of one time you and I by ourselves hung out outside together, and it was when we were just like kicking. It was like in between futsal games, and we were like just kicking the ball around, like trying to practice for the game we're gonna have, like later that week.
That's
or something.
hilarious.
And it was so crazy how like serious we took that. Like we actually like practiced for it and everything.
Yeah, that's right.
Like I was out.
Yeah.
That's how you know I was serious. I was like outside with like a soccer ball. Like,
Yep.
what the fuck?
Dude, we were putting in some plays for a couple seconds there for a hot second.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
that
mean,
was-
we
that was
won.
fun.
I'm wearing the shirt right now. I mean, nobody can actually see
Oh,
it,
the
but
champion
yeah,
shirt?
the champion.
Yes, that's
Oh,
right.
So, I
Yeah,
mean,
we
it paid
won.
off, I think. I got a shirt out of
Yeah, that's exactly right.
it. Yeah.
That was a good time.
Yeah, I can actually. I mean, I still like go outside to play tennis, so I guess that counts. But yeah, what is like a outdoor activity that you would be willing to like pick up right now at this point in your life?
An outdoor activity that I'm going to pick up,
Yeah.
like just like soccer, like exactly what John said. That's like the limit, and it's not even at this point in my life. That's just really how I've always been. But I mean, I like snow sports, like skiing. I mean, that's really
Okay.
the only one, and sledding is pretty cool. But what makes me hate the outside is the bugs. Like I'll be having a great time, and then a bug will land on me, or like I'll get eaten up by mosquitoes, or like attacked by bees. Or something. It's just like this is not fun. Like I'm not trying to like fight for my life. Like every single time I step outside. In the winter, there's just like none of that. It's like I just have to stay warm and be bundled. But as long as I'm like dressed good, like it's just at least a peaceful time at the very least.
The only outdoor activity I can see myself doing is still a sedentary activity, and it's fishing.
You can see yourself fishing?
Yeah.
That's like the most outdoorsy you can get. Like, you don't mind
Really? You think so?
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
Well, I don't have to. I don't have to like do like. There can be long hours of me just sitting, and like I'm perfectly okay with that.
have you ever like gone fishing
Several times,
several times? When's the
but
last
not
time
like
you've
it's
gone?
just like bait fishing though. Not like anything. I'm not pulling like. I don't know what they're even the bigger fish are called, but I'm not pulling like, huge 20-footers or anything out of the water. But the last time I went was probably a few years ago with my dad and brother for like a Father's Day. A few years ago we did that. We all went like and camped at this place and like rented a boat and like fished out of it.
I mean, aren't there like so many mosquitoes that like every breath you take, you breathe in at least 10?
So strangely, we've only done it when it's been a little bit cooler. So we've been like pretty much covered from head to toe anyway. So strangely, no, it has. Most times we've gone, it hasn't been crazy. Because I don't like fishing in the summer, like super when it's super hot. Because then, yeah, like it's not fun because of the heat. It's not fun because you're sitting there and you're baking and being eaten by mosquitoes at the same time. So
Yeah.
So is this fishing like on the shore or are you like in the boat in the middle of?
both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I've done a lot of both.
Yeah, that's like a 10 out of 10 on the outdoor scale. So,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that, I would
I
say
don't.
that's
I
10 out of
just
10. Like,
I'm just so used to doing it now that it doesn't seem outdoorsy anymore. It just seems like a thing that I just do with my dad. You know what I mean?
okay. Well, I mean, that's good.
Yeah.
what about you?
When I think outdoorsy, I think like camping, man. You know what I mean? Like,
That's like the same as fishing.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
So
Camping
you're an
is just
outdoorsman.
fishing, but you get tired and you don't go home. You just take a nap right there.
Yeah, you're a true adventurer. Yeah,
Wait,
that's who
so
you're gonna be.
when you go fishing, do you like throw the fish back, or like do you actually catch them? Like, I'm gonna cook this up tonight.
I've done both, but a couple times that we fished, it's been like at a. I don't want to say a retreat, but it's more of like a father son thing where all a bunch of guys went to a campsite together and all camped out there and also fished. So in that scenario, we ate the fish that we caught. Like we completely like gutted them, scaled them,
Ugh.
skinned them in some cases, and then like just cooked them up in a pan with some oil and shit.
Did you have to do
but-
that, or did other people do that?
Yeah, both. I mean, I did the ones that we caught.
Ugh. How was that?
It was fine.
You're like, it's fine. I'm like, yeah, I was just touching its
Okay,
open
maybe
eyeball
you're right.
and
Maybe
everything was
okay. Yeah, maybe you're right. Maybe it's much more outdoorsy than I've realized. And
Yeah,
now when you say like gutting a fish, yeah, that is kind of outdoorsy.
I'm
like,
just like,
yeah,
Holy shit, guys!
last-
I'm outdoorsy.
Yeah, yeah, you
I
are.
can tell people that now.
like, yeah, in a way.
When people accuse me of not going outside, I'm like, but you haven't seen me when I fish, though.
Yeah, there you
That's what I'm
go.
gonna tell them from now on.
Interesting.
Yeah, I feel like there's not
what about you?
many people out there that can say they've like woken up, went outside, caught a wild animal, and then ate it. That's
Yeah, yeah. There's definitely not many people who can say that.
And that was enough to sustain me for the day.
yeah, that's crazy.
That catch.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, that kind of is crazy.
Yeah,
Yeah, man. Outdoors.
for me, I can't see myself doing like any stuff like that. But I feel like if there was like some kind of in between like outdoorsy and like indoor like nerd tech science stuff, I would like do geocaching. Which is, do you guys know what that is?
No idea. Is that like
It's
catching rocks or something?
I mean, it might as well be, but it's like essentially like a worldwide treasure hunt for people that decide to like enter and play the game. So like all around us, there's like little like notes or like USB drives that are like hidden in like buildings and like bricks and like stuff like that. And like the coordinates are online on like the geocaching website. And you can like look it up and then like go to the location and like find the geocache and like sometimes there's like cool stuff on it or there. and then like you put it back and like add to it or like stuff like that. So
What the
like
fuck? Oh
so I
my
could see
god.
Oh
myself like
man.
doing like something crazy like that. Um, but yeah, other than that, I'm not like you guys were saying, I'm not the type of person to like just want to go outside to be outside. Like I'm all about being able to control my environment. So
So you would go outside, but only if you had the chance to find this piece of technology that you can use when you go back home.
yeah, yeah, if I'm going outside, typically it's because I have like a reason or a mission. Uh,
Mission.
yeah. Otherwise, there's like I don't have a reason to be out there.
Wait, so like, is it usually always a USB drive?
No, I think it just depends on each like geocache location. Like some of them are like super old, like going back decades, and like they haven't changed like since then. And some of the newer ones are like the USB drives. I've even heard that like at some of the locations, it's like a female like socket, and like you bring your USB drive and like you like plug it in, and then like you get something on like your USB like flash drive, and then you go home and like put the
You
virus on your
fuck the
like computer
USB
and
drive.
everything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's exactly what I was thinking. Like,
You just said you go there and you fuck the
Yeah, I
USB
realized
port.
what it sounded like, but
like, so like, yeah. How do you not get a virus? Yeah, all that unprotected USB port.
yeah, you just
Yeah,
yeah, isn't it wild? But you're not doing it with your own body, so like, who cares?
you're gonna have one. You're gonna have one ragged USB stick, man. That's all I'm
Wait, so
saying.
have you ever done one with like there's a female USB port and you had to plug in your flash drive?
No, I've like never ever done this. This is just like a thing
Oh,
I know about that I'm saying like it's something that could tempt me into going outside more.
that's crazy. Yeah, that's gotta be like that. Like, yeah, how? Yeah, I would never plug in like a random USB drive that someone's like, "Hey, just plug this into your computer." Like, isn't that like not getting a virus 101? It's like don't plug in like a random USB drive that you find.
Yeah, that's part of the adventure. The same way I would say like, hey, shouldn't you like not go and walk out into the middle of the woods alone, like without any like survival gear at all? But people go hiking all the time.
Yeah,
So
that's true.
I just
Interesting.
I feel
So,
like it's the next evolution of like what outdoor entertainment is gonna be. Which I guess kind of like leads into one of our topics today, uh, talking about gaming and I guess just like the whole industry and pretty much our experiences with it in our I guess I would say probably at least 25 plus year like that we've all been gaming. Cause I don't know, when would you guys say was the first time you guys like played a video game, or the one that you remember most fondly?
I started playing video games before my memory formed. Like, there was never a time I remember where I didn't know about video games or I wasn't playing video games. Like, my dad bought. I was born in 91, and my dad bought the Super Nintendo the year it came out in 93. So I was 2 years old. And, like, all I know is, like, stories of them playing video games or something. And I wanted to play so bad, so they would just give me a controller and just it wouldn't be plugged in, and then I thought I was playing. So like that was my first experience playing video games. Like just holding onto a controller and watching my parents play, essentially. And also thinking that I was possibly the person controlling it.
Dude, yeah, I think the first time or the first game I played was Super Mario on a Game Boy, like the original like big like gray brick. Um, and it was 'cause like the neighbor boy had it. And he brought it over. He's like, "Hey man, look at this. This is like sick, isn't it?" And I was like, "Yeah, that's outrageous." Because yeah, at that point, like technology was what like TVs were still like CRTs, I think,
I don't even
back
know what
in
a
like
CRT is.
95 or something
Like a
like that.
tube TV?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Um So the thought of having like basically a TV in your hand that played games, like to all kids was like the most outrageous, like cool thing in the world.
Yeah.
So yeah, when I first played that, I was like, oh, this like changes everything. Like,
How
like
old were
this
you
is
when that would have happened?
probably 6. Yeah,
Okay.
6, because that's when we moved out of like the city to like the suburbs, and then yeah, so that's when I met that kid who had the Game Boy. And then I was like, all right, this is gonna be something I want to spend time on, like from now on. So
For the rest of my life. I mean, what about you, John?
So my mom bought the Super Nintendo when she was pregnant with me, and I know she played it,
Like,
and
that's
so
crazy.
I just grew up with it. So yeah, I remember always having one around and playing a lot of Mario on like a 13-inch TV, like super what we consider super small now. I mean, there's some fucking phones that are 13 inches now. So, yeah, that's my earliest memory of it. But then after that, I would pretty much always have whatever the next game system was. Like, I had the Sega Genesis, the N64, the Dreamcast. I don't think I ever had the. There was another Sega. I don't know if it was. I don't know if how many things Sega made, but I think their originals like consoles I didn't have. But like everything after that I had. Like I had an Xbox, I had PlayStation, so like I always was doing some type of gaming. So it's always been there for me. And I still game pretty heavy now.
Did you ever have like rules on like how much you could game, or like were you not allowed to game sometimes, or
Yeah, if I got in trouble then I might not be allowed to game.
but otherwise you just had pretty much unfeathered access to any video games you needed or wanted to play for the most part?
Assuming I'd like done my homework or something or already, yeah.
Interesting. I mean, like, I asked because, like, nowadays it's like there's so many games and experiences like someone can have by like buying a game. Like, it's kind of crazy to think that you could just like give maybe like a 5-year-old like complete access to any video game that's on the market right now, because there's like some pretty crazy stuff out there, obviously. But
yeah, do you
Yeah.
guys think that our experience of like that first time gaming, like getting that Super Nintendo or like a Game Boy or consoles like that, do you think it's the same for kids growing up now? Like, do you think they get a similar experience? Because I remember being like, it was like a life-changing event to like get a new console or a new
oh
game.
yeah.
And
Sure.
like, I don't, and at this point, it seems like consoles are kind of like fizzling out. Like, I'm not sure consoles are going to exist in the next 5 years or so. It seems like everything's transitioning to like you sign up for a service and then all the stuff is just like kind of there. Do you think that is still the same like gaming experience uh as what we had?
I feel like John might know. I mean, what does your brother think about games?
So my brother has a PC. I feel like that's where people are with people have the money to spend on games consistently. They're going to PC mostly.
Like,
They're
even
building them
kids?
because yeah,
Dang, that's
yeah,
crazy.
absolutely. My little brother has his own PC,
I mean, like,
like his own gaming
how
PC.
does a kid get that much money? Like,
Well, obviously he didn't buy it, like my parents bought it. But yeah, I mean, if you're a kid where and you're, but think about like how much consoles cost, like and all the other stuff you might get for Christmas, like that might if you didn't get a console. Like so let's just say you just ask for like just regular toys, and how much like your parents might have spent on that kind of stuff. It's pretty comparable at this point, and the PCs last a lot longer. So I
and they're
mean,
much more
it's not
useful.
it's not really that much more money when you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, that is true, I guess, when you're getting it as a gift and stuff. Like, I feel like
Yeah.
every human needs a PC. Like, if you don't have a cell phone and a computer, like, I don't know how you're alive at this day and age. Like,
It's so funny you say that because I honestly could live if assuming we weren't doing this podcast, I could live quite comfortably without a PC. in my current state.
Quite comfortably? You're on your
Yeah.
PC like every day.
No, I only get on it to game. But in between the times you and I don't game, there's several days where I don't come in this room at all.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, because all like the stuff that you and I talk about the market, I'm just looking at my phone.
You just look at your phone? Oh my
Yeah,
gosh.
I've just gotten so comfortable with the interface already. I'm just like, that's just where things
You can
are.
like
So
barely
it's
fit
funny.
enough
I like,
information on your phone. I need like the two
yeah,
screens on my computer, like just like
yeah.
you
I
were
don't need
talking about
any.
earlier, like two screens on a desktop computer. Like if you're gonna have a desktop, it's like a
Yeah.
standard to have two screens. Like I need
Well,
more information getting in
well
my
to the point
brain.
of people of kids experience gaming now. That basically is their experience. Like partially is information. Like they usually have at least two screens, just like you said, but they're also using that PC to do other things. So like I feel like part of what's happening with gaming is also a larger like example of what's happening with just how we get information in the world. It's all becoming like pretty much centralized, and pretty soon you'll be able to buy like one little implant or something that'll give you the ability not only to like get text messages and call people, but you could also game from it. You know what I mean? Like I feel like pretty soon experiences that we had that Guru was talking about of like opening up your first console or getting something new, that because everything is so digital and because you can get it so quickly right away, like that build up and excitement is not really there anymore.
So it's over. Like
Yeah.
that's basically a time of the past and will
Yeah.
never return, and no
Yeah.
one will care about video
And
games like they did
that's
back then
exactly
ever
true.
again.
Well, and that's partially why I think the state of gaming has kind of decayed over the last 6 to 7 years. Because honestly, they're just reacting to how quick things have to come out. So like, as we're in the old days, like I think developers spent several years on games because they wanted to give you the best content possible for what you were buying. Now they're just trying to push out something as an interface to be able to act like a portal to their store.
Yeah.
Like gaming is really just a face of a store now.
There's like
That's
coins,
all. That's
skins,
yeah. That's all it is.
XP boosts. It's like
Yeah.
all the bullshit that
Yeah.
they
Yeah.
just want to.
The digital age kind of trend made even gaming kind of transactional.
Oh, what a shame.
And it's really unfortunate.
It's,
Yeah. It feels like just like how you said, John, instead of like interfacing or interacting with like something that you enjoy or is like an actual genuine experience, instead, like you said, it's like you're just like walking into a store. Whenever you turn on the game, it's like you're opening the front door and now there's like a customer service agent saying like, "Hey, look at this new stuff. Download this new thing. Hey, buy this new skin." And it's not even about the game anymore. And yeah, I feel like the second that the entertainment industry realized or decided that gaming was widespread enough that it was worth their time to like put money into, like that's when everything went downhill. Because
yeah.
just like how you said, like studios would spend like years and years and years on a game and then release it like done, full, complete, 100% that's the game. There's no DLC, there's no nothing else, and they expect you to play that game like for years until they're done with the next one. But I can't remember the last game that came out like that, and I'm not sure one ever will because the model is like, oh yeah, this is a store, and we'll just like upgrade it and change it like piece by piece as the years
Yeah.
go on, like your local Walmart. Do you guys like your
Yeah.
local Walmart?
No, not at all.
Yeah, like once they caught wind that the consumer is willing to pay for the game before it's even done, there's like, well, why would we ever not do that? Like,
Yep. It's so funny that you were describing Gouda like that. There's really not games like a whole lot of games like that anymore because that's absolutely true, and that's actually why I think I liked Ark so much. I felt like someone had spent a lot of time making that game and like putting time into it, and they were continuing. Like even though their model is updated, where like they are releasing DLC content, even the DLC content you can tell has been worked on for a very long time, at least in my mind. Like even like so Arc the game has been out for what like 7 6 like how long like
Dude,
5 6 years or
I
something.
feel like it's been out for like 10 years, but no, probably like
Right.
8. Yeah, 6, 7,
Right.
somewhere in there.
Right. So they started with adding. They started with already having given a lot of content, and since then they've put nothing but more content into it. And now they're finally now like pretty much 6 or 7 years later. How when did Arc come out?
2015 it says. So
Yeah.
seven
So it's been
years
out for
ago.
7 years. So now 7 years later, they're just now coming out with an Arc 2. In contrast, Call of Duty has come out. A new Call of Duty has come out every single year since 2015.
That is pretty
Like
funny.
there's just a very huge quality difference
I mean,
when you and you can. I feel like you can tell that too.
Ark does have a lot, for sure. But it also did come a long way. Like, what it was in 2015
Right.
is not even close to what it is today. But
Oh
at the
sure.
same time, like, you can still compare that to Call of Duty and be like, what was it like in 2015? And
Yeah.
2015 and Call of Duty, remember, that was after we were in college. So that was after
Yep.
Modern Warfare 2 and stuff, or Modern Warfare 3, even. So that like the Call of Duties between 2015 and now have honestly been like more or less the same. Like
Yeah,
it's
they
just
have.
been like the same stuff that they've just done in previous years. Like literally nothing's different. It just feels cheap.
And I think too you have to have like gamed pretty consistently to understand like that it's okay like for a game's base model to stay the same. Like again, another great example is Rocket League. The game has really like the concept of the game of like what the goal is in Rocket League, which is basically just cars playing soccer. Like that concept has not changed since Rocket League came out.
Yeah.
The only thing that's been different is that they've continuously like bettered the mechanics of the game, made it sharper, crisper, and then occasionally they will also add new maps so that you're not just playing in the exact same arena every single time. But like other than that, the game has not changed. Like the base game has been, and people are still playing the hell out of it.
I
So
mean,
it's like I think the new version. I'm not saying that obviously gaming will never change, like, but I just think the real question is what does the value prospect of gaming look like compared to what it used to look like. So like if we thought like a valuable game in the past meant developers would take 3 years and then release something and you could just have endless content on that game without any updates. I think what that translates to today is like a game being put out with a really, really, really good standard concept, but then continuously being worked upon by a developer through updates. Like I think that's the
yeah,
updated version of that.
yeah,
And there's very few games doing that still right now.
yeah. Like you have to almost know the studio now when you buy a game.
Yeah.
It's like, what are they gonna do with this game? Is this worth me investing? Like, you don't just buy a game and then like enjoy it. This is like it's a waiting game. Like, I'll buy a game when it comes out and just know it's not gonna be good for 10 more years. Like, actually, no, 10 years is a long time. Well, usually it's like, yeah, like if I hear a game announcement, I try to just expect to actually play that game in the state it was meant to be in, that they're advertising it to me in like 5 years at least. It's like, okay, sure, like you have that now. Okay, I'll play it in 5 years, like because I just know it's gonna be not even close to what they're advertising essentially. Like,
Yeah, it's interesting that you use the word investment because I feel like that's almost how it is for the generation, like how you were saying, John, that is interacting with these games is just like a portal, like a screen to a store or something like that. And really, what you're paying for now is like being in on the ground floor. Like just being able to say like, "Oh yeah, I was in on the beta and I like have all these skins from like season 1 and like what do you got? Like you're trash. You got nothing." And and like that's what you're paying for now to like have prestige and like power and popularity in the
yeah, it's all
game.
about clout.
Yeah, which is like wild. Like that's crazy.
Yeah, that
It's
is true.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, people our age like usually don't buy like skins and like spend money on stuff like that. Like we think of it as stupid. Which like I remember like I'll never forget how I think about skins. It's like yeah, back in my day, like you didn't give a fuck about skins. Like I remember like when like games would try and sell skins, I'd be like, that's hilarious that you think I'm gonna like pay money for that. And then like that was
Yeah.
before like mobile games. I remember like there was a few select like MMOs that were like, oh, you can just pay like a bunch of money for like a skin. And like that's stupid. Like that's only for the die-hard fans. Like the super like I don't even know who would do that. But like now that's normal. Like that's just what you do. Like if you don't have a skin, it's like what is this no skin looking ass? Like you're gonna get
That's basically
destroyed.
me in every game I play.
Yeah, and that's why people hate you immediately. Just like, look at this
Is
guy.
that why?
Yeah, your name is John, and you have no skin. Like, there's like, look at this guy.
Yeah, so I don't think we've ever talked to Guda about this, but apparently there's this phenomenon we've noticed that when I game, that something about my name must really trigger people because whether I put Johnny G873 or just John, every time someone's talking shit to me when I play COD, they're like actively on the mic telling me that I'm a bitch, and the game hasn't even started yet, and I haven't said anything.
Just like, fuck you, John. It's
Yeah,
like,
and then when Valero and I were playing, like someone was just woulda saving me before the game even started. They were already talking shit to me, and we were just like, why?
It's regular. Like, if anyone talks shit to us when we're playing Rocket League, it's always immediately to you. Like, they say John or something like that.
Yeah.
Like whatever.
Yeah,
John.
I've regularly had people say like type in Rocket League chat, "Your name's John. Your parents must really hate you."
Oh my God.
Man, so I wasn't actually
Jesus
aware
Christ.
of this phenomenon that people
Yeah, man.
have a poor association to the name John. That
Yeah, I
must
don't
be
know.
new.
I don't know what it is.
Do you remember, Gouda, back when we used to play Mafia on StarCraft 2?
Yeah.
And whenever, like, if you wanted to get kicked out or voted out to get executed immediately, you would just name yourself Justin Bieber. And it was guaranteed, like,
Oh
the
yeah.
person who was, like, the Mafia, or not, was it Mafia? Yeah, the person who was, like, the killer who was actually, he could literally say, I'm the killer, please execute me tonight. But if someone's name was Justin Bieber, they had to go first. Like, that is just crazy. Like, you don't even care. Like, everyone, like, do you remember what I'm talking about? It was
Yeah, I
specifically
know what you're talking
Justin
about,
Bieber. Like, yeah, it was something else.
it that's crazy, but that just made me think of another game that was super popular like 2 years ago, maybe like a year ago, called Among Us, which is just Mafia
Yeah, yep.
with like a reskin on it, but people like lost their minds over it. And yeah, I thought it was funny that nobody was like making more comparisons and links to like the original Mafia game. I saw it like here and there, but yeah, I don't know, like did that like style of game like just like die out like long enough that it's becoming popular again or what?
Yeah, yeah. People were just like, you know what? We didn't realize this could be so fun. I feel like they couldn't find like a format that was easy enough to get into, and like you didn't have to worry about like. I mean, you still do have to worry about typing in Among Us, but you could just like vote per color. It's not. I feel like typing back in like the original Mafia and in the StarCraft 2 version, like that whole game, it was just a typing game. Like that's just what you're doing. You're just talking to people. But at least in Among Us, you're like running around, like doing little like video gamey things. So I feel like that spin on it probably was what it needed to like go mainstream, essentially.
Yeah, that's true. But back to skins.
Yeah, skins.
I remember like how you're saying, John, back in Modern Warfare like 2 and 3, where skins like you didn't pay for them, like you actually had to grind it out. And I feel like that was a great indicator of how good the game was because like they had confidence enough to say like, "Hey, yeah, this game is good enough that we know you'll play long enough to get this skin." And now there's like, you can just pay like $1 and we'll just give it to you. Like
Yeah.
they've just like completely given up. And I feel like that is so like it's a great the word is losing me, but it just like tells you so much about what has happened to gaming in the past, I don't know, 10 years or so, something like that.
Yeah,
Too many greedy publishers and developers, I guess. Like how do you stop that? You don't. You just have to have like one good like company who's run by one good person who forces the company to do like good things and actually try on their game. And that's like rare. Just like world leaders basically. Like it's great in like theory, but the chances of finding one are like not like super high. It's unfortunate. Someone do it. If you're listening, be that person.
Yeah, like
Be the
I just
change.
would really like to be excited about a game again. And I guess I'm wondering, what do you guys still get excited by games like to the point where you're like, man, I can't wait for that to come out, and then it comes out and you're like, this is a really great experience. Gonna I'm gonna be invested in this for the next year or so.
No,
Cyberpunk
that's not.
2077. That came out in December 10th, 2020. So that was the last time I was excited about a
Is this a
game.
joke?
No, no, it's not even a joke. It's the truth. Like legit, like that was the last time. Like the it's pretty far and few in between now that I'm older, especially now that I've seen so many games and stuff. It's pretty far and few in between that I get like that excited. And like Cyberpunk, I was like, dude, this game looks like it's gonna be so good. Like I cannot wait. And then obviously we all know like it was a big flop and it
Yeah.
sucked and it still sucks. Even like in its finished version, it's like, like every time I play it, I can't not fall asleep. And it's like a first person shooter. Like, how do you fall asleep in a first person shooter? I have no idea. But like I can't do it. Like it's just there's just something about it that's just not interesting. So like yeah, ever since that like first off, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like since 2020, no one's even trying to come out with games anymore. Like, what are even, like, good games that are supposed to be coming out? Like, I don't even really...
Arc 2.
Arc 2, yeah. That's been announced since, I think, before 2020, possibly.
But I mean, it's not out yet.
That's true.
I'm just saying like games that are still are going to come out.
But everything else
But
is pretty much, like, released and
that's
it's
it.
just been garbage. Or, like, they've just
Yeah.
canceled the project altogether. Like, just like, meh. Or they just have accepted that their game is a scam and will stay in pre-release perpetually. Like, there's a ton of Steam games like that. Like, yeah, there's a ton of Steam games where it's just like, you don't know when they're ever going to consider this fully released. But as long as you keep paying them, they're just going to keep doing it. Like, yeah, they'll fully release it when they realize people are stopped paying for it. They'll be like, okay, this is the finishing point. Like, at that point, the game's dead.
Yeah. So, man, that's so disheartening. Yeah, so it seems like to me that in order for a game to like truly be a success on its own like laurels, not like financial gains withstanding, it has to introduce some kind of new like game style or mechanic because like the games that we were talking about, Ark, like that was like a world builder. Even though like I don't know, did Minecraft do that first? Was that the game that really like put that style of game on the map?
Yeah, like super sandbox, like world builder. Yeah, definitely. But
Yeah.
Ark, like, yeah, I guess Ark, in 2015, Minecraft came out in like 2009 or something like that. So yeah, I would
Yeah.
say, I would say Minecraft started that.
Was it like the first real world simulation of a world builder, essentially?
Pretty much that I know of, like truly just like sandbox. Like I'm pretty sure I never even heard of the term sandbox like as like a video game genre
Hmm.
until Minecraft. And I was like,
Okay.
oh, that's what that is.
Yeah. So I can't. What else is there left to like do or introduce that would be new in that type of way and groundbreaking and not like
Nothing.
reliant on the storefront model?
Nothing.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. Yeah, I guess that's
I
the
feel
big
like
question.
the next step, like it has to be VR and AR, right? Like that's the next thing that kind of hasn't been touched yet, and there's like open real estate, so you could say, in terms of like bringing new ideas and experiences. because
Yeah.
I I know that I know Blair, you don't think it's like an actual game, but I play Pokemon Go like all the time, and I'm like really into it. And at first it seems stupid, but like the fact that it is like an AR game and it like integrates with real life, uh, to me is like new and different enough that it's kept my interest for like more than a year. And yeah, I just feel like it's gonna take things like that in order for games to stay relevant for, I guess, everybody. Um, I guess they don't really care if as long as like they're still getting money from like the younger generations, but since we're all over 30, we're just talking about how gaming affects people in our age bracket. So, yeah.
Yeah, I remember when Pokemon Go came out, like that was groundbreaking. Like that was the first time I really realized AR, augmented reality, could be used like for a video game. I was like, wow, like I never really thought about that before. Like I knew of the concept, but I was like, all right, well, good luck with that. That should be cool. I was just thinking like when you see someone, it'll like show their name or above them or something. Like that's like what I thought of. But like now adding a video game, so like the world you're in, like on top of it, like there's like another dimension, and that's like a video game that's being played. But that's like pretty amazing. But at the same time, Pokemon Go is just so basic. Like they need to like expand the complexity of the game and like make it like more do more things so you could like take more approaches to it. Like right now there's just really one way to play it and that's it. That's fine. It's a fine way, but like yeah, I feel someone like me you kinda need like different ways to go at something
hmm Yeah,
rather
but
than oh
yeah,
go ahead.
I feel like it just shows that it's like a good first step. Like it's like showing that there are other avenues that are still like available to build on. Like just like how you're saying, like I agree too that they could do so much more with the game to make it super robust. Even though it is now, like they have esports tournaments for it and everything.
They have
Um,
esports for no way.
yeah,
Pokemon
man.
Go
There was
esports.
there was one in this city like just last weekend
Oh
that
my
you could
god.
like go to.
That's
So
crazy.
yeah, but I feel like that shows you that they introduced something that was like kind of new and different. And even though it's basic like how you're saying, it still has enough legs to become like an esport because it has character and like some like a game mechanic that actually draws people in rather than just like a juke like a jack like a what's the word I'm looking for? The thing that you go to the gambling place, the casino, and you pull the thing,
A
and
slot
it gives
machine?
yeah, a slot machine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
A jukebox? You're
yeah,
just playing that jukebox.
yeah. I'm sure you can like buy songs now too, but yeah.
Yeah, I
So
mean, VR, I have like the VR set and everything. I will say that it's getting there. The headsets are getting better, but it's still heavy. I feel like I can only last in VR for like an hour, really. Like, and after that, I'm just like, okay, I'm done. Like, my eyes and head are tired of holding this headset up, of looking in this VR life. It's like that might take some getting used to, and they've got some ways to go. But AR, I feel like AR has got like some good potential as far as like what could pop up like easier next, essentially.
yeah, especially because everybody has a phone. So
Hmm.
yeah, if you could somehow make that like again like how you're saying, John, the next portal or screen that everybody uses to like get into the game, then yeah, there might be some possibilities there. Which is kind of funny because it kind of loops back to like how I was talking about the geocaching thing. Like that is kind of like a version of AR in itself. Um, so
Yeah, it
yeah,
is.
I can definitely see. Yeah, I can definitely see those type of two things kind of combining and creating some new wild like crossbreed reality game. in the future. Um, so yeah, I don't know. Is there anything else that you guys think? Um,
What I want to know, what was like the game that has made the biggest impact on your view of like games in general? This is like the most impactful video game you think you've played.
I don't know if I've played an impactful video game.
There's no video game that you were like, that was the best one, or like, I'll never forget this one. I honestly like. It sounds like Ark for you is like, gotta be up there.
I mean, it's good, but no game has made me feel like, oh my god, like this is the game. Really, I've never felt that way about any game.
So there's no game, no single game that sticks out in any way out of your entire
No,
30-year
there's games that stick out that I liked more than others, but not to the point where I was just like enamored with the game itself.
Yeah, I guess that's what I'm asking. Like, what's the one that sticks out the most?
Probably either Smash Bros. Like Smash, either one, like the original or Melee, and Mario Kart.
yeah, you took mine. I was gonna say Melee.
Yeah, that is a good one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess I would say Skyrim.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Yeah, that one. I've never felt addiction like on a daily basis until that game came out. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, after I was introduced to that for the first time, I think I played that for the like 8 or 9 hours the first day.
Yeah. The first time ever picking it up, it was just like 9 hours later. You put down the controller, you're just like, oh.
Yeah. And then there's other games too that I've like grinded but not been super attached to, like Rock Band. Like it started out as just a hobby, and then like I was just like, okay, I think I can. Once I started playing like the highest levels like better, I was just like, okay, like how good can I get? Same thing with Mario Kart, like trying to like beat the ghosts, like same sort of idea. Like it just became a challenge against yourself that became fun. Like the challenge itself was fun.
Dude, do you remember that time we did the that time trial in Call
I know
of Duty?
exactly what
Yeah, and we made it. What we
MW,
ranked in like it was like the top
MW3.
100 or something like that.
Top 1,000.
Top 1,000? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that was pretty
But
good.
that was out of hundreds of thousands.
Right.
Yeah.
That was
we did that time trial probably a couple hundred times.
Dude, we spent like all day on that thing, I want to say.
Yeah.
I wish they had.
And was that on split screen? Were we doing that just on one screen?
Yeah, on one screen. It was amazing. I
That's
wish they had like phones that could have recorded back then, or at least like consoles that could have recorded or something. Because that was truly impressive, like what we were doing back then. But now we're old and who knows?
Yeah, we don't have the reaction to that anymore.
I don't know if we can make it. Hey, we probably got some decent.
That's the one game I think I've actually gotten better at with time. Has been COD.
Really? It's because you don't have to run right in there and just get shot straight in the head. You're like, you know what? Let me wait a little bit.
Yeah.
So what would you say it was about Smash that like made you like so addicted to it? Because I would say for me, it was like the fact that you could keep going back to it and getting better, like how you're saying with Mario Kart and the time trials and stuff like that. And it seems like that's the common thread with all the games that we're really, really into. The fact that you can go back to it and like get better or like discover something new. I don't know if that's like just me, but
well, they were also really good at being good like they brought you and your friends together easily. Like you can play a game against your friend and it just be fun, or on a team or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's very easy. I remember I used to do teams like with my group of friends on Smash, like either 2v2 or free for all or whatever. And then same thing with Mario Kart. Like you're racing against some computers, yeah, but like you can also race against your friends who are right there. That's also a good reason why Mario Party was super popular, even though it was on the more toxic side of gaming, because it could definitely ruin your friendships very easily.
It's so hilarious.
But yeah, like I feel like they were also really good at that, like bringing they served two purposes. Like Guda, you were saying, you could grind them by yourself if you wanted to just get better, or you could just like see how you stack up against your friends, and still have a good time with them, like in it not just be like. I feel like gaming now, if you're stacking up against anybody, it's a ruthless competition, and whoever loses is a baby back bitch. Like, like that's how gaming feels for me now. When like I don't have fun playing COD. I play COD like to compete. That's why I play it. That's the only reason I play COD now. Is because it's something competitive for me. Otherwise, I wouldn't play COD at all. So yeah, it turned from fun, and then as I got better, it turned into like this toxic competitive thing that I only really play with other people who I know. Because otherwise, I'm just like if solo queuing, I can't even imagine soloing a game by myself like that anymore.
Yeah, why does that happen? Why does a game become less fun when you care more about it? But I feel like it's because you care more about being good.
Yeah, you have that's exactly what it is. It's now you have an expectation.
Yeah,
You have
yep.
an expectation of winning, and the moment you have expectations around a game, it ceases being fun.
Right, yep. So if you really want to enjoy a game, don't expect to win.
Right.
Just be like, whatever.
Well, that's
Yeah.
why new games are usually so much fun, especially when we were first learning certain games that really stuck with us. When it was brand new, you didn't know what to do. Like you and your friends and everybody else were learning it together,
Right.
and that's true of new games now, but only in the sense that in the first couple of minutes you're learning, because again now, because everything is very digitalized, you can learn a game through YouTube videos now. Like there is no like COD used to. That's another reason I think COD has just lost its way. Is there used to be a learning curve with the games like that. Like I don't know if you remember when we all played Modern Warfare 3 when it came out like in 2011. Like we spent hours on that game in the dorms because we were all just testing different things, and because no one had like a best gun, no one knew what the best setup was. Now you basically know 10 minutes into any game before it comes out, or even before it comes out, what the quote unquote meta is gonna be.
Yeah, yep.
Like it's already decided. So like the shit just isn't like there's no discovery anymore.
Right. Yeah, I feel like that's
Yeah.
exactly it. Discovery, like the feeling of finding something out, like you're the one finding the best thing, or you could be the first one. But now, yeah, there is no secrets anymore.
Yeah. That's it. Yeah, that's what's missing. No secrets, no discovery. It's just like you already know going in and opening the game. If you don't have this exact thing, you might as well like just stop and like turn around or be
That,
okay with losing over and over and over again.
that's how I feel
Yep.
like Eve Online is. Like, I've been playing Eve since 2015, like, pretty seriously, like, in and out, like, off and on. And like it's a very like expansive game, like super complex, like so many different ways to look at it. And I feel like now that I've been playing for so long and I've like seen every single thing you can do and be like, you know what? That next thing that I'm gonna learn, then I'm gonna be the best Eve player. And then I learn it and realize there's just like some like cheap like limiting like mechanic that makes it just not that good. And then I just go through that until like you just find all of the limits of the game. You're just like, oh, okay, well this is boring. There is no way to like cheat the system, and like I guess that's the point. Like for some games, is like if you let someone find like something too good, then that's viewed as OP or like. I guess when everyone finds out about it, yeah, it's probably too late. But yeah.
Yeah. So for you, Valero, since you said Skyrim, and I feel like that one is unique in that it's single player. What was it about that game that made it like so good?
Oh man, Skyrim. Yeah, it wasn't like there wasn't like a huge community that was like keeping me involved. Like me and all my friends. It was really just like I have never played anything like that. Not even close to close. Like, the closest thing I had ever played to Skyrim before actual Skyrim was probably like maybe like one of the Assassin's Creed games or something,
Mm.
which were like pretty like nowadays it's considered pretty basic. You can just like walk around in a town, like, and then you can like once you progress in the game, then you can go to like another town, and like that was it. But like Skyrim, you can literally like explore on foot, no loading times, unless you like go in a building. So it's just like this seamless environment that you can spend hours in, and it felt like alive. Like you could be walking down the street, and at some point, like an NPC would just like approach you with like this thing, and it seemed random. Like it seemed like this couldn't possibly be scripted because like I've been down this path before, and like I haven't even done anything significant, but now this random event is happening or something. So it's just like the way they made the game actually feel like living, and like at any moment something you've never seen could just like pop out of the bushes in a place you're completely familiar with in the game. Like that made it like it made it feel like I could never find like experience everything the game had to offer. And like I actually never did. Like it was just I feel like there was a lot in that game. Like I did all the main quests, but there was even more side quests that I'd never done. And it was just like, and that's great. Like that's a great game. It was just like it. I couldn't even like play it all. That's how much there was, and I enjoyed every single bit. I would say that's as good as you'd want a game to be, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah, the way, yeah, now that you put it like that, that's crazy. It's a game that you literally can't beat. So how could it ever be bad?
Right. It's always gonna be new. Yeah, if they can find some way to like keep like the random encounters scripts, or you like feel like fresh. Like, you know, another good game that does that is Red Dead Redemption. And I will say that's one of the recent games that's come out in the last 5 years that's actually been, I would say, up to like standards where you can tell they spent a long time on it and it was actually good. And like I feel the same way.
I tried that game and I just couldn't get into it.
Really? How far did you get? Or how much did you play?
I played for like 2 days for like 2 to 3 hours each time.
Really? And you were just like, this is trash.
Yeah, not trash. It's not that it's trash. It's just the feel of the game was just not my cup of tea at the time. Maybe I'll appreciate it differently if I picked it up now. Like maybe it would feel different now.
Yeah, I feel like you have to want to be in that world because it's definitely like you're in the Western world, so like you have to be.
Maybe
in that
that's
mood.
the problem. Maybe that's the problem for me. I have no real appreciation for the Old West at all.
The Old West. Yeah, we don't have anything
So
to be happy
that's
about.
that part that doesn't interest me. But yeah, to your point, like the interactions that I did have in the game were all very well done. Like I didn't have any actual issues with the game itself. It was just the feel of the game that wasn't for me.
Right.
But I completely understand why people like it. Like if that existed just with a different like theme around it, like a different skin, if it just had a different feel, like I might actually really really like that game.
Yeah, so that was the last one I've seen. Like, yeah, that's the last good one I can think of where it's like this game feels like it was work done. But yeah, especially since 2020, and now that they have the excuse of the pandemic, I don't know if we'll ever see a good game again. Like, I swear, developers are still, like, talking about how the pandemic is slowing them down. I'm like, what are you talking about? No one has, like, that's bullshit. Like, it's been 3 years, like, and there's like, we were gonna release a game, but the pandemic, like, no, dude, like, this is bullshit. Like, they're just fucking around at this point. There's like, but you can still pay $30 for our alpha?
Right.
Like, no.
But you gotta get it on the ground floor, man. That's how you
Yeah,
get good.
Hit the ground floor to experience all that bullshit. Right up first. First row.
Oh man. Okay, well, to wrap this thing up, let me ask you guys,
Wait, are we stopping at an hour again?
Yeah, that's gonna be the standard length
Oh,
of all these
okay.
episodes.
Yeah, that seems like a
Okay.
good amount.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
what is one thing that you guys would like to see change for gaming moving forward? Uh, it doesn't have to be realistic, just like one thing that would like help convince you that this is something that's gonna like hold your attention for the rest of your lifetime.
I guess. Do you already have something in mind for yourself, Gouda?
Uh, yeah, I would say would need something that's highly customizable and feels fresh, like how you were saying with Skyrim. Every time I like interact with the game, and I would want something that is uniquely customized, like the same way we all have different fingerprints or a snowflake or all those other like analogies that you can use. Like I want my character to be like mine. Like there's no way any other person could possibly have my same build or whatever. And yeah, like that would be pretty cool. That would make
I
me feel like I would be invested.
I completely agree. I feel like that is really important for me to like really get into a game. Having it highly customizable, like you said. I guess I would add to that. Honestly, just like not having microtransactions, like kind of what you were saying before. Like back in the day, it would show like, yeah, this game is good enough, or it's like we don't need that. So like, if I start seeing that, like I immediately start getting a bad feeling about where this company is like trying to take the game and like its focus essentially. Like even if like they could still be putting a lot of resources in the game, if I see that, it just feels like they're starting to pay out. And it kind of reminds me of like what they say about like when you're buying stocks and like dividends. There's like, yeah, just so you know, when you're buying a company that pays out because it pays out a lot of dividends, that's usually because they ran out of like good ideas to do with their money to continue making more money. So now it's just being paid out in dividends. So like, just take that in mind. It's like,
Mhm.
so that's what I think of when I see lots of egregious microtransactions. I'm like, these guys are running out of good ideas to make their game good. So they're starting to squeeze us for every drop we can get. So don't do that. That's what I'm hoping
Great point.
people would do.
How about you, John?
I think the reason I don't enjoy most games has a lot to just do with how commercialized gaming is now. So the whole industry would have to literally cease to exist, like that. There would the part of the problem is the things like YouTube and Twitter and Instagram. Those things have given each person who plays a game the ability to share their knowledge with other people. And as great as that sounded as an idea, it's also made there this competition for like who can get out the best and like most revealing content about a game. And until that stops, I don't think I'll ever like be able to enjoy a game that involves other people because those other people are already bombarded with media about the game before they ever touch the game. So unless the game itself is just something, unless I literally just stay off of all media when I purchase a game, which how the hell would I find out about a game if I'm off, if I'm off all media, right? Like
Mhm.
I would just have to be like storming Best Buy like every couple of weeks and just like asking what's the new game
Do you
out.
have a hard copy?
Right, pretty much. So like that's the only way I feel like, which so basically in a convoluted way, it would have to uncommercialize gaming for me for me to enjoy it again,
Yeah.
and or the company to Valero's point, like they would have to care more about the experience of the game than the profit that it's. They would have to see the experience as the driver of profit instead of just
Hmm.
it being like a skin to or a portal to a store.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah,
Uh,
essentially, like the whole industry would have to bottom out and then rise again
yeah,
like a great
right.
phoenix.
Yeah,
Well, looks like we're on
pretty
our
much.
way to the bottom, so.
Yeah, there's actually a guy who wrote an article about that, about how commercialization of gaming has kind of ruined it.
Interesting. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, I could see that.
And like how you said, Bolero, like it seems funny to run in there and be like, "Oh God, give me a hard copy," but like that's how it was when things were great. Like people would like go into the GameStop and be like, "Hey, like what's coming out next week?" or like "What's new?" or like you'd pick up a Nintendo Power magazine and there'd be an article about this game coming out like in a month, and people would get excited and it would come
Yep.
out and it would be good.
Yeah, yep.
And it's not like that anymore. So.
Ah, such a shame.
Yeah,
Such a
unfortunate.
shame.
Very unfortunate. But hey, maybe something new will come in the future. Maybe AR or VR will surprise us. Um, we'll see. But for now, I think that's it for this episode.
That does it.
Um, yeah, something for all you gamers out there.
Yeah.
But
Sorry, non-gamers.
no,
Yeah, you're gonna be
everyone's a
lost
gamer now.
forever.
Yeah,
You know,
everyone's a
because
gamer.
everyone's trying to get the money
My
out of it.
my wife is not gonna enjoy this episode.
Yeah,
I'm so
same,
sorry.
same. She's like, what is this?
What is this?
Hey, we talk about things that may or may not matter if you guys haven't read the description. So yeah.
Yeah,
Um
this falls under that.
yeah.
Mostly not.
Yeah, but yeah, next time we'll have something hard hitting for all of you, something that is about reality and life and all those good things.
Yeah,
Um
next time on It's Basically Monday. Is God
Sex
real? No, I'm just
sex predator, or is he a sex predator?
kidding.
Oh man. All right. Until next time.
Yeah. Bye bye.